I want people to know who you are, Tiffany. I didn't want to tell your story. I believe it's important for you to tell your story because you and I always, and I have said this many times, that the book that your husband wrote, Hope Unseen, and what you and your family have been through really were what gave me strength when Marty was blinded. And, and I thought to myself, wow, I looked up to you. I looked up to the fact that I know it's tough and I know it's hard, but we can get through this, and with faith, we can make this happen and our family can be stronger for it and we can move forward. Guys, she truly is the mom, the wife. I know this. Everybody has skin in the game and sometimes people forget the families. And especially our military families. So I want you to tell people what happened with Scotty, how it happened, and how you represent and advocate for veterans' families.
Yes, I was born in a small farm town. I was just a farm girl that really came from nothing, sold cherries on the side of the road to buy my basketball shoes. And in junior high, I met Tiffany Smiley. And I always joke that when we got married, he had graduated from the United States Military Academy and I was a nurse. I always wanted to be a nurse. So I had my bachelor's in science and nursing. And it was a picture of the American dream. Our new last name was Smiley, for crying out loud. And he was a military officer and I was a nurse. And that all came to a crashing halt on April 6th of 2005, 16 years ago this month. I was at Walter Reed, facing a devastating, hopeless situation. I was working as an urgent care nurse and I received a call that, military spouses, families dread. And it was someone else's voice on the other end of the line while Scotty, had been serving in Iraq. And they said, Tiffany, Scotty came face to face with a suicide car bomb. One thing we know is he lost both of his eyes. The other thing we don't know is if he's going to survive. And this strong leader just broke down and started sobbing on the phone to me. And that's when our American dream blew up into a million pieces. And I did two things that day. Number one, I resigned from my nursing job. And number two, I took a one-way flight out to Walter Reed Army Medical Center, hoping that Scotty would arrive in Andrews Air Force Base alive. I didn't know. And gosh, I had student loan debt. I had a car payment. Now I had no job. And I walked into a husband who couldn't see, had no eyes, and was paralyzed, couldn't even get out of bed, paralyzed on the right side of his body. And I walked in that room every day and spoke truth, hope, and life because I believed that this country had to be more than what I was walking into every day, that our sacrifice had to mean something. And so I believed in that vision more than I believed in anyone else's doubt in that moment. And I had walked in and told Scotty he would never see again. That same day I was brought into a room because I had power of attorney to sign his medical discharge paper. And I said no. I told them I'm not signing it. They didn't know this, farm girl from Washington State, that grit and that vision that she would bring to the table. But I truly believed in it with all I had because that was all we had. That was all Scotty had was someone who offered him another perspective. And so I said, no, I'm not signing it. And they pushed it in front of me a little bit further. And they said, Mrs. Smiley, I don't think you understand. Your husband has no eyes. There's never been someone to continue service with no eyes. And I wasn't just standing up for Scotty. I was standing up for thousands of families. I was standing up for you, Sara and Marty, that, and I think it was a year later, we're having to deal with a lot of the same things. And I knew that our country needed something more. And so I wasn't afraid to do it. I built a coalition around me who believed in that vision. And we would go on to serve our country for a whole nother decade. Scotty became the first blind active duty officer to continue service to our country and moved 8 times in 10 years and had 3 beautiful boys born all over the United States. But I think, also I share this story because I love this country so much, so much. And I always say, in what other country could you stand up to the government to advocate for something better and see it happen and see reform happen? There's no other country that we can do that in. And we have to preserve that freedom that we have here.